Come on in. Welcome to my home. Let's talk about your parents and technology. Some of you have older parents who did not grow up with technology, and guess what? It is absolutely fine. They do not need to know about a whole lot about technology. My mom she retired just at the end of as computers were really becoming popular in working. And so yeah, she does know quite a bit about computers and she feels okay with them, but there is new technology that comes out, and it comes out all the time, and it can be frustrating for her to try to figure out the new technology. The reason that this video is coming out because I just got her a Google Chromecast. Why did I buy her a Google Chromecast? Well, because we got rid of cable TV. No more cable TV for us. And so we had set it up so that she could use her tablet to cast to the TV, and guess what? That wasn't working real well. Not at all. But I mean, there are lots of tips in this so what I did was, okay, she wants a remote. How am I going to get her a remote? Google Chromecast has a remote. You're like, well, why didn't you get her something else aside from the Google Chromecast? The reason is we are keeping within the same, I call them ecosphere. We are within the Google ecosphere. Everything which I have, everything which we have is Google. In fact, we have matching things. Our phones are alike, our tablets are alike, all this stuff. In fact, I have at my house, our houses are connected so that her house can talk to my house. I can check out her Google devices from my phone, from my computer. And that's really important because I can then see what's working, what's not working, and we can share things. And I can help keep tabs on her if I need to. Usually I don't. One of the things I will 100% tell you is it is easier to set up like devices, those sort of things, as much off-site as you can, then bring it into the person than it is to try to set it up there. Like 100% easier. So what do you need to think of? Well, you need to think of, don't make things really, really complicated. It was sort of strange when to do one task, in one room you had to do it one way, in another room you had to do it another way, and in a third room you had to do it completely separate from either one of those. No, try to get everything so that they match. That's like I said. The reason we're sticking in the Google sphere is because her phone acts the same way as her tablet. So that way she doesn't have to try to figure out which should be working what way, because she's not used to it. She didn't grow up with that, and that's absolutely fine. Her TVs will now work exactly the same way. With the whole Google, what else do we have? We have the Google Home Hubs, the Google Minis, so that she can communicate, she can turn off and on lights. Those things she got really quickly, like super, super quick. The thermostat, all of that is in the same system, so she knows where to find those on her phone, and so she can go to her Google Home and then just go from there. Those are easy things. But if you make them super complicated so that they have to then, go under one device and another thing and another thing, it's not going to happen. These things are not going to get used. Let's talk passwords for a second. Write them down. Write down. I don't care what people say. If you have somebody, even if you're for your own passwords, write them down. People are not stealing your passwords. Write it down, and also you need a copy of that person's password. Why? Because they're going to lose it. You're going to lose it. Make sure that you can find passwords really easy, and make sure that you have it set up so that especially if they're much, much older, so that if a password gets changed, it goes through you. Now, that has its own problems, because if you get into a fight with your parent or whoever that happens with, that can be a problem. That can be a big problem. But if you're on good terms, realistically, it's something that you should look at, and something that you have to think about. How can we do this so that it makes a lot of sense? Also, if you are the person who is older, let me know down in the comments if you are the person who's older and how these things work for you. Don't wait until the very last second to tell somebody that something is broken, or coming in the middle of the night saying, well, yeah, I was trying to do this and it hasn't worked for 4 days. That can be irritating. That can be vastly irritating. Don't do that. Also, any backup batteries, backup anything, rechargeable batteries that are ready to go at the drop of a hat will benefit you. That also means charging cables, all the backup stuff you'd ever possibly think that you would need, have it, because you're inevitably going to hear, well, yeah, it's been out of batteries for forever. I just haven't told you. So yeah, be prepared. Have a time first thing in the morning and go over these things. In fact, Mom and I, every morning, we go over what's going on for the day, how things are going with all of her technology. Have that sit down time. It also gives us a great time so that we can check our calendars, because our two calendars, I can see her calendar, she can see my calendar, we can coordinate things. That's where this technology really helps. It really pays off. And she's really good about getting things in on her phone and that sort of stuff. If you are the younger person who's taking care of the older person, whom you might not even be taking care of them, just helping them along, remember, if they ask you a question, it might be the first time that they've ever asked that question. So don't get annoyed and just snap the answer. Think about the answer. Think about, how you were. You didn't always know how to do this stuff. It could take some time. It's alright if it takes some time. Go ahead and let them take their time. And reassure them that nobody gets it right away, because that's what we seem to show. We seem to show people just like these computer genius kids who sit down at the computer and boom, they know how to suddenly program. Okay, that's great. No. The other thing to be careful if you're older is make sure that you are using the actual terms. Also, if you're younger and you're teaching these people, teach them the actual terms. So that way you're speaking the same language versus I want to turn this off compared to I want to close this program. Those are two completely separate things. So you use the terminology which is correct and they will use the terminology which is correct. It just helps. Pay attention, write down. If the instructions are really hard, write it down. It's okay to write it down. Go over it with them many, many times, and then, like I said, reassure them that it does take some time. No matter what they tell you, it will take time, and they will get it. It will just be slow going, and that's okay. One of the big things to consider is all the sign-ins that you're going to have to do for new equipment. I know when Mom just got her new Google Chromecast, she had to sign in to a bunch of different things. That can be a bizarre problem. So yeah, that was fun, but she's all signed up and everything. But think about that. Think about the things which will frustrate you, because it's going to frustrate the person who doesn't exactly know how to do it even more. That's why you need to know all the sign-ins. It needs to all be in one place. You'll be fine then. It'll be good. Learn at your own pace. Enjoy the whole process. And also, if somebody teaches you how to do something, actually do it. Actually use it. But don't teach them how to do something that you know they're never going to use. It's going to be something which you think is really cool, but they don't need. That's pointless, because if they don't need it, they're not going to use it. If they need it, teach them how to do it. If they ask, teach them how to do it. Might be something you might even learn things. That's been the cool thing, is I've learned how to use my own Chromecast just from teaching Mom how to use hers. It's really cool. I've learned so many different things from this, and it's been nice to look up, to research this stuff and say, hey, I didn't even know you could do that. Well, what about you? What do you think about that? What things have you taught somebody? If you're asking why I'm not talking about being a parent teaching a younger person, because that's not me. I don't have that happening in my life. So yeah, I don't have that, so I can't speak on that. But if you can, you guys can talk amongst yourselves down in the comments. I want to thank my patrons for making content like this available to you, because it really helps. Their support helps keep this channel going, and your support, if you are a patron or not, helps keep this channel going. Your comments, your likes, your shares, your suggestions, they help keep this channel going. If you're interested in becoming a patron and getting these videos early and other access to other videos, let me know down in the comments, and I hope I get to see you the next time you stop by.